I'm gonna do a very. I don't know if it's mild or not, but people are gonna get mad. I don't care. Spinx is going to be Vitality's best player in 2024.
Woo! First of all, I'm in for it. And I love it. So let's go. Come on. Hit me with it. Come on.
Yes, right now that's not the case, but it's getting very close. And we get to that point of statistics, right? If you go through the matches, you will see ZywOo plus 22, plus 21, plus 17, 20, whatever. Statistically speaking, ZywOo is their best player, by far. And
sure.
But like we said, they are a little bit misleading. But when I say a little bit, I mean a lot. So I was watching Spinx a lot, during this last, 6 months. And the guy is absolutely insane how good he is. He is providing so much impact for the team outside of the actual, winning battles on the server. The things that he does are absolutely amazing. I think he's found his spot right now. When he joined, the first 6 months were a little bit iffy. If you remember, it was like, he didn't get the same spots like in Ents, and he's not delivering, but he got I don't know if it's Zonic's, kind of idea that he kind of implemented and kind of, made him more effective. But whatever it is, he's playing really good right now. And I think in about 6 months from now, because what is it, August right now, end of August, in about 6 months when the CS2 comes out, he's going to be more impactful overall, and he's going to be the best player of Vitality. Yeah, you want it spicy? There you go.
I guess okay. So I'll.
There's no way Maui agrees. So come on, hit me. Come on.
I'll take your side at one thing here is that I do think that in terms of like macro impact, Spinx has so much good impact for Vitality. Like when you were talking about all the things that he's doing that's helping the team, like the way that he plays CT side, especially where he'll go for like a kind of a risky push in the last 25 seconds in a round or something like that, or 30 seconds, or actually in fact he has a really good internal clock for when he needs to go for a push on CT side, where one, if he gets the kill, that's great. Two, even if he dies going for some of these pushes, it's actually kind of low risk, I've noticed. Sometimes he'll go for a push and it's like, well, because he's found that guy with 25 seconds left, his team knows everything that's going to happen in the round. There's no time for the opposing team, for that matter, to rotate into some other new plan. And so even though Spinx may have died and it may seem like it's a costly death right there, his team can now adjust their defensive scheme because of the new information that he's providing them. And he does that by, oftentimes he's actually just getting the kill. He doesn't even die. But I'm just saying that that's kind of like a worst case scenario, is that it's still not even that bad. So his risk assessment is very strong. I don't think that he's actually going to be better than ZywOo next year. I do think that ZywOo will still be the best player on this team. Just the fact, one fact is that I just think that ZywOo's level of self-preservation is so strong that he'll always he somehow finds a way to not find a decent amount of opening kills, but he just always is alive for the late round situations, and he's so good at them. So, and also on top of that, the other side of this is that ZywOo just gets to op. ZywOo gets to op, and when you get to op, more resources are going to be dedicated towards your success. And so statistically speaking, he's going to just be doing better than Spinx, just because people, including Spinx on Vitality, are going to be making sure that ZywOo has a chance to find impact.
So basically, Duncan, what he said, he's agreeing with Peter from HLTV, because he mentioned stats are more important,
exactly,
when it comes to the overall value of a player. So we know which side he's on and which team he's playing for. So,
okay.
Yeah, okay.
The funny thing is, by the way, this actually will just show you that there are a lot of people who claim to be like Vitality fans who aren't at all Vitality fans. They are only and explicitly ZywOo fans. Because, mate, some of them will hear this, and that should be brilliant news. Because I'd never said ZywOo's going to get worse, by the way, or be a bad player. He actually gave you good news. He said that he's going to be a player even better than him on the team at the same time. You should be rejoicing. That's awesome. Great. We're going to be like the good. No. They would rather burn Counter-Strike to the ground than anyone except ZywOo get the MVP. I'll tell you, I know what these stands are like, mate. They're actually ridiculous. I don't even think, straight up, I'll say this, because I said this famously in League of Legends about Reckless, if you know the player. I don't even think they're fans of Counter-Strike. They are just fans of who they think they know the person ZywOo is. Like, they think they know him like a pop star, and that they know all these. I think he's very quiet and humble, and you know the way, like, you don't know, you've never met the fucking guy, you morons. What are you talking about? Like, you're talking like it's a soap opera, and that's like your best friend's new man that you've just met. Like, oh, he's so cool with the kids. Like, what are you talking about? It's fucking video games. Like, I only care about what they do in the server. So I always just say about Simple. Could be the biggest dickhead of all time. As long as he gets in the server and left clicks that up, all forgiven, bro. Just go to work. I don't care if you're a good human or not. Just do work in the server. So on this one, obviously Kassad's more arguing from the point of like, you notice he never said statistically he will be better. He said impact-wise. Like essentially, to me, Spinx, the second he joined this team, is the X factor of this team because obviously he was pretty consistent. By the way, just think through your mind. When was there a map Spinx went off when fucking Vitality lost? I don't know if it's ever happened, mate. It feels like every time he goes off, dude, those are the games they win like 16-5. Like, they just cruise past people. I also do think, actually, his game does have some, like, underrated elements in it. Like, mate, this guy is absurdly good at rifle duels. Like, this is where you'd have to get in some other pros playing him. But, like, I feel like this has to be one of those players where when you attack his spot and you're a T, you just get sick of going around the corner and getting two-bulleted in the head instantly and be like, I didn't even have a chance because I didn't know where he was and he's just watching the corner angle. Like, that's where certain players, by the way, it's the same with Nico when he's on CT side. There's players where, like, the joke is, sometimes they have bad stats games because the other team just doesn't fucking go to the site anymore. You get bored of it. You get bored of looking like a moron running through a flash and just getting immediately killed and go like, you know what? Let's just go and pick on the guy who plays like fucking, I don't know, Pit on A on Inferno instead of this guy. Like, why should we just run in a buzzsaw? So, like, yeah, I agree. I think he is actually absurdly good. Like, if you look at the raw eye test, I think he is easily like... I'm trying not to make this its own hot take. Put it this way, in terms of like raw mechanics, he's a top 10 player in Counter-Strike. I think he looks absurd with the eye test. It's really, really, really good. And then let's throw in as well, because no one ever remembers this. Remember, they are all playing in international teams. Like, I don't want to hear this where you're going to compare this player to like a player who plays in an all one nationality team. Like, these guys are playing with totally weird, like a Dane next to an Israeli, next to a French guy. Like, mate, there's no connection there. Like, if they can make that work, they're actually probably even better Counter-Strike players than we realise. So, no, look, I don't know if I'll agree because... if Ziwu does the things he does now, he probably still is the best player, but it's not a terrible, like, there's an interesting argument to be had there. I'll spin it back to you, Kassad. Is there some things, if someone's a casual fan and they only look at the stats or they only look at the top of the scoreboard, what things should they look for with Spinx? Do you think that they'll get a little bit more insight into what he does in the game? What's drawing your eye a bit?
How basic do you want to go? That's the thing. Like that he, I think now he said it pretty nicely. He called it internal clock. I call it game sense. He can read the round better than most of the players on the planet right now. Like, I'm not counting obviously the top 5 players like Robs, Nikos, and all these like superstar level players. But he's up there. He can read the round. You can see that. You know, when you watch a player and all you can see is the like whatever he does looks easy. But in fact, it's not fucking easy at all. You try to do it yourself and you fail miserably every single time because you don't have that skill. You don't have those mechanics like you mentioned. So if you look at him, you will find so many smart decisions throughout from the beginning to the end of the round. Not just by rotations, but utility as well. The fights that he is taking are always kind of in his favor. Slightly. So that gives him the edge over the other players. He's sharp as fuck as well. So that kind of gives you additional bonus. So if you look at him, he's doing all these good things for his teams, but he's like eclipsed and overshadowed by obviously the best player in the team right now, which is Zaibu, you know, the player who is going to be in a few years a contender for the GOAT. Not right now, but the thing is, like, he's their best player right now, and you don't get to see all these things that Spinx is doing. You got to see them in ends. Because Ants, he was the best player in there. So he took all the spotlight right now. Now you can't do it because Zaibu is there, obviously, but he can still deliver, and he still is delivering super high impact. And, you know, that's the reason why they're number 1.
I can actually spin this into a hot take. I was going to save till later, but we'll do it now because it's actually about Spinx. When I was watching the recent run at Gamers 8 and IM Cologne of the Ents team, the whole time I just keep thinking, bearing in mind, Nertz is like fragging out and doing really well, but you can see how inexperienced he is. Remember, he only joined the team in like February, guys. Like, he's the guy who's had a bunch of times where like there'll be a map in the semis or the fact where he just goes quiet, does nothing. Dude, if they could actually right now, they wouldn't choose to, but if I could make them, if I just transport Spinx and he goes in a Nertz's spot now in Ents is just the best team in Counter-Strike. I'm not even joking, because Spinx already is bona fide. Sun Pius is a big game player. We've seen this. Dika only has to be like the third best player. Madden is actually a very good role player. And Spit and Snappy, just the flaw his fragging brings to the game, and then he has good calling in the map. They would actually be the best team in Counter-Strike, in my opinion. The problem they have at the moment is they don't have the bona fide number one star. Like, no, it's just it needs more time. He probably needs like another 3 months. Some Pius, by the way, isn't going to be it. Like, that's not his style of play. His style of play is like in a big pressure moment, he'll pull off some crazy big balls, triple kill, do a no scope. He's not trying to actually be like old devices. You know, every game I'm going to give you like 20 kills. That's not who he is as a person. So this is the problem. Is that's the piece they miss. If they could transport Spinx back and have this lineup of events, I think it would be the best team in CS. Well, we disagree, so come on.
He's thinking, so I can take it over if you want.
Go on.
He's thinking through it.
My take is so similar. I have a really I just have another take that I might. Okay, whatever. You go, Kassad, because I have a way.
The thing is, like, what I understand what you're saying. Yeah, completely. What's even like bonus to that is the fact that, you know, he joined when February, whatever. They don't have a superstar, and they are still playing so good. Like, they are going head-to-head with teams like G2, with Vitality.
Dude, they even sometimes win some of these big games when, like, one of them has a bad game, then you're like, holy shit, how? Like, they beat Vitality in Cologne when Nerds was doing nothing. You can go watch the game, guys.
That's the... I mean, there is a lot of things. Like, for example, I think the lots of credit for their success goes to their in-game leader/coach combination. I think they developed a lot of like good things around that team, including the system, the structure, the way they do. I spoke after the Gamers 8 final with Snappy, and he told me like, yeah, I mean, we were the better team in like 3 halves, and like it's very difficult to play against a good team like Vitality and always start 0-5. So they basically always have this like room to work with, and you have none. You have no margins for error whatsoever. Like, it's just super difficult. And when you give that much space to the team that's so good like Vitality is right now, it's very difficult, nearly impossible to come back and win. And you know what it takes to turn around those games and win? Like you said, bona fide superstar that's gonna pop up and just deliver you this little bit more impact into your game, so you can turn it around and bring it back. That's what Zybu does for Vitality. That's what Nico does for his team. That's what Simple does as well. Like, all these like superstar level players, they are delivering that when it needed. The ENCE doesn't have that right now. I don't know if they're ever gonna get that to that point. Nerds is good. He's very good. He's aggressive, but I don't know if that type of player is gonna develop into this, because I have never seen a player that's aggressive as him. Let's take like Yekin, Dark Config, and all these like super aggressive players. They're never those type of players that you just talked about, like a superstar level. They're gonna deliver you impact. They're gonna set you up for the superstar, right? But they are not superstars themselves. Like, they are just, you know, a very good players that are delivering a lot of things, right? You compare the Nerds and Spinx to different players, right? Spinx is more of a Robs type of, just a little bit more aggressive than Robs, you know, but because he has so much space. But if you are super aggressive, you go for those fights and you're gonna end up dying a lot of times. So it's very difficult for them. But right now, yes, if they had a I guess I'm going to say that word again, superstar player in their team, they would probably be number 1 now, and they had more titles than Dallas.
See more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, you know, be a pleb and don't.